Using OIC for data migration. When the subject of possibly using the OIC platform to migrate data comes up, you'll always hear me say, "Don't do it. It's not the right tool for the job. Just use FBDI and other loaders. Don't use the integration platform. One file of data and then loads of invokes of API calls in loops for each record? Classic anti-pattern." However, what if? What if an FBDI loader wasn't available to load certain types of data? What if the data wasn't fully resolved and you needed to get additional data from the ERP cloud or from other sources? What if you were just curious to see how you may go about doing it? In general terms, there are a few ground rules for data migration. Firstly, assume that the data files will be in a CSV file format. Rarely does data migration use real-time or near real-time processes to obtain data from sources. Secondly, the data migration loaders need to be reusable, and the load mechanism needs to be repeatable. Whether you're using FBDI loaders or web services to load data, then the approach should be systematic. The third ground rule is to ensure good data validation and subsequent reporting. There's little point in having good feedback channels if the content of that feedback of your data is unusable. Likewise, having good data validation feedback without an easily digestible reporting channel is also pretty pointless. In the example you can see on the screen, our client had an issue with loading contracts into ERP Cloud using the normal file-based loader. It just so happened that Fujitsu had already developed for them an integration from Oracle's Configure Price Quote application to Oracle ERP Cloud. This Fujitsu developed integration receives a REST service call from CPQ, containing data relating to a customer account's bill to and ship to site details, details about a new project to be created or updated, and also data relating to a new contract, its related bill plan, revenue plan, and contract line details. At Fujitsu, we aim to ensure that we design customizations that are reusable and extensible, and therefore our custom integrations are no different. It was therefore very easy for us to take components of these existing integrations, clone them to create new integrations, and then tune them for the purposes of file-based data migration rather than real-time end-to-end web services. We made good use of the features available in OIC Generation 2, not least of which by utilising the OIC file server to stage our data file. We also reuse our table formatting JavaScript library so we can present feedback directly to users in a useful, readable form. Parameterizing our integrations by using lookups meant that we could easily import and export the integration artifacts to different OIC environments for data migration testing purposes. Our main integration has been built as a scheduled process, although in truth it will always be run manually within the OIC console. It accepts 3 arguments, created as schedule parameters. Schedule parameters are great, as you have the ability to change them internally from within the integration at runtime, or externally, so you can choose to keep or change the parameter values each time you submit the scheduled integration process. The 3 parameters we have are for directory, that's where the file is going to be located on the file server, the file name, and the mode. The modes we've chosen will be either validate or load. Regardless of whether the mode is validate or load, we should ensure that we send out a notification like this, containing lots of information should we need to try and work out why the validation failed. The email subject line should contain the name of the OIC integration platform, as well as containing the mode in which you ran the integration process. The body of our notification contains the name of the file that we've just processed. We also have a record count, so that details the number of records in the file, split out by the number of records validated and not validated successfully. Here's our parent process again, split into a flow for validate and another one for load. Both parent flows will execute child processes in a loop around the data in the source migration file. By splitting up the integration processes this way, you can maximize reuse of your integrations and also give you and your customers the ability to add or change integrations with very little impact. All in all, we were very pleased with the speed and ease of development because of our reuse of artifacts and also the speed of processing of the data in this largely one-off activity. Calling many web services in a sequence using a for loop is a massive anti-pattern. And not surprising, the performance isn't the quickest, but it does work. Again, this is not an approach we would recommend for a business as usual integration, but as a fallback migration tool, this really did help us out. We hope that you enjoyed this and it will inspire you to develop something similar if you need to do some data migration. Until next time, goodbye.